Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Ian, and this is Let's Talk Politics, a show where we talk about local, we talk about state, and we talk about national politics. Whatever the topic of the day might be, that's what we're going to talk about. And today's topic is going to be on the different ballot measures as well as different propositions that we have here in Alaska and in the Matsu borough right now. But before we dive into today's topic, just a few things. Early voting has started. It is October 22nd at the time of recording, and all across the state, people are diving in and getting into early voting. I went and voted today. It was super fun, even though it was a 2 hour long wait, about an hour and a half-ish to actually get to the poll workers where they started to verify who I was, make sure I had the right ballot, and then the time it took to fill out that ballot. So from the time I was in the door, waiting in line, to the time I was back in my car, it was roughly about the 2 hour mark. Had some great conversations with people in line. Everybody was in great spirits. And when I had put my ballot in the machine, I know we still use machines, but when I had put my ballot in that machine, I was number 830. And that clock or ticker was a continuation from the previous day, October 21st, which was the first day for early voting here in Alaska. So this is just one location. We had 830 people, and the line was longer than when I had gotten there. So we probably are going to see well into the 1,500 people for early voting just at this one location in Wasilla, which is pretty awesome. I know there was reports in Anchorage with people having at least hour-long waits. In Anchorage, there are two different locations that you can go vote at, so the line isn't going to be quite as long. And then in Eagle River, there was also a location, and I know those people were waiting closer to the half an hour mark. And I was almost tempted to drive all the way to Eagle River, which is about 25 minutes away, depending on how traffic is. But traffic was pretty bad today, I heard. But I probably could have driven to Eagle River, voted, and come back in the time it took me to wait in line. But I wasn't going to be able to get my Matsu borough ballot from the Eagle River location, so I chose to just go ahead and stay there and vote there. But again, I saw a bunch of people I knew, which was really great. We had some really good conversations. It's kind of funny. I saw one person went to go vote and they made him turn his hat inside out because he had a Trump 2024 on there. I almost wore my Nick for Alaska hat and then remembered that they might make me do that technically any type of information, you're not even supposed to have a bumper sticker on your vehicle advertising a specific person or campaigning for a specific person when you go to a polling location. Granted, nobody's really going to push you on that. I mean, what are you going to do? Make me take my sticker off or just not drive that vehicle? What if it's my only vehicle? It's kind of an interesting situation, but still, there was a lot of people in line for wearing Trump hats, and there was only one person that actually they made turn inside out. I thought it was kind of funny that it took them that long to notice somebody, but there was poll workers in and out constantly looking for people that needed additional assistance or additional time to vote, and nobody ever made him turn it out. There was only one lady that made the guy finally turn it out, and wasn't too surprised. I happen to know who that person is that made him do it, so yeah, it was kind of funny that they made him do that. So again, early voting has started. You can go to many locations. Just about every region in Alaska has a 7-day-a-week time frame. So you can go Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. at your local Division of Elections office. Otherwise, on Saturdays and Sundays, there are shortened hours of time that you can go vote, so you can still go early. You don't have to wait till the day of election. I highly encourage people, make a plan to vote. Make a plan to vote. The reason why is you never know what's going to happen. The lines are long. People care this year. People are out in force to get voted. I was talking to somebody, the guy behind me in line was like, man, I went the day yesterday, October 21st, and left because he just didn't have the time to wait in line that long. Came back the next day, ended up being basically the same amount of wait, but he said, "Hey, I'm voting today. I am putting everything aside so that I can go ahead, I can go vote today so that I know my ballot's been cast and I'm done and I don't have to worry about it anymore." I know for me, it was really good just knowing it's done. As much as I like to vote election day, I wanted to know that my ballot has been cast, that nothing else could go wrong. In Alaska, we're going to start seeing snow. I know certain parts of the valley have already seen snow. So I didn't want to risk something happening and not being able to make it down to my polling location the day of. Even though it's literally like a mile up the road, I could practically walk. It's close enough. I could literally walk. My polling location is that close, but I did not want something to go wrong. There's all different kinds of things that can happen. So make a plan to vote. If you're going to go the day of, make a plan. Make sure you have backup ways to get to where you need to go. Otherwise, go vote early. I know the line is 2 hours long, but it is so worth it knowing you're done and you have cast your vote, or whichever side you're on, that you've cast your vote. I hope it's for Donald Trump, but either way, go ahead, get out to vote. Now, like I said, today's show is going to be about our different ballot measures. We have 2 statewide ballot measures. We have ballot measure 1, ballot measure 2. Then we have technically 4 different Mat-Su-Burt ballot measures. And I've gotten a few questions from people about it. And even some people that just didn't know. And I mentioned, I said, "Hey, did you know that this is going to be on your ballot this year?" And they went, "What?" So most people are aware of ranked choice voting, ballot measure number 2 on your state/federal ballot. But if you live in the Mat-Su-Burt, so a lot of people do not know that you could have anywhere from 2 to 4 different propositions or ballot measures on your ballot this year, on your Mat-Su-Burt ballot. So we're going to walk through the 4 major ones that we've got going on this year, and I'm going to provide a little bit of insight on them so that you can help better understand exactly what you're going to be walking into when you get to the polling location, to your early voting location or your poll on November 5th. So ballot measure 1 this year in the state is mandating to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2027. So if it were to pass this year, next year minimum wage would go to $12 an hour. Minimum wage in 2025 would go to 13. In 2026, we would go to 14 and would raise the minimum wage to $15 by 2025. It doesn't only just do that, though. It also mandates that employers start offering sick leave to their employees, which this is a lot of the ads that have been running around this as being like 1 in 4 Alaskans don't get sick leave. You want to make sure everybody gets offered sick leave. Well, I mean, that makes sense for full-time employees, but if you're somebody that's a part-time employee that works at a coffee shop or as a bagger at the store or something at you're a teenager at McDonald's, you don't necessarily need sick leave, and there's a reason why those people aren't being offered sick leave. This is not really a place the government should be getting into. There should be, yes, a minimum that is fairly low. Part-time employees are not meant, or employers that are offering part-time work are not trying to provide a living wage. If you want a living wage, go get a full-time job somewhere, not a part-time job at a fast food place or a coffee shop or a bagger at a store. There's a reason why they're part-time and they're paid so low. There's also the people that live off of tips. Tips are a way to pay somebody a lower wage and offer a very high level of customer service to get tipped out higher. Yes, is the tipping culture sometimes bad because you have some toxic people that, here's your tip, and every time you mess up or make a mistake, I'm going to take $1 away, and they kind of like rub it in your face. Yeah, those people are what's messed up with the system. But overall, after talking with some of these small business owners going, I can't afford to offer the service or commodity that I offer at this rate and get people to continue buying it if the minimum wage was to be raised. And on top of that, I have to offer them sick leave now. So this is really a huge target at small businesses. It's a way to get small businesses to close, so then we only end up with bigger businesses that are making more money, and everybody hates them anyways because they're apparently making too much money. So, I mean, if you don't like those type of companies, then don't vote yes on this. Let small businesses run how much money they want to make, and let them run their business their own way. The other ballot measure we have up this year is ballot measure 2. And most of us know which one this one is because this is ranked choice voting. And if you've been anywhere in Alaska anytime soon, you've heard of ranked choice voting. The really difficult thing about this, though, is the way it's asked, because you would have thought that it would have been, yes, I want to keep ranked choice, or no, I want to get rid of it. I literally had to make I did a whole talk on ranked choice voting already. The fact that people are having to take so much time just to explain to people how ranked choice voting works already tells us that it's something that shouldn't be implemented. It's not something that should be in place in anybody's election system. I know there's some other states out there that are considering doing this, and I really hope that they don't get it implemented, because Alaska has done it. It doesn't work. It is a failed system. Democrats should not be involved in Republican primaries. Republicans should not be involved in Democrat primaries. And same with the independents and the Green parties, the libertarians, whatever party you might be. You should have your own primary so that you can choose your best candidate that you feel like has the best chance at winning in the November election timeframe, or the general election. Every party should get that option, and nobody outside that party should be influencing those elections. Ranked choice voting was set up to influence those types of elections. So if you're in another state, you don't live in Alaska, and you're listening to this right now, vote no. You don't want ranked choice voting. And I hope you're going to vote yes, get rid of ranked choice voting. Because no is keeping it, yes is getting rid of ranked choice voting. So vote yes on 2 to get rid of ranked choice voting. I hope I've said it enough times now. Those are the 2 measures that we have on the state level. If you're somebody that lives in the borough, there are 4 propositions up. But what's interesting is not all 4 propositions are for everybody. We have Proposition 1, which is one that is for everybody. This is the educational and related capital improvement bonds. Bonds are what governments use to borrow money. I know that can be confusing at times. Not everybody understands that. I didn't understand that for the longest time. But basically what this is doing is the Matsu Borough Assembly wants to borrow a very large amount of money. It's about $58 million to go and build 3 additional new public charter schools. The charter school waiting list is literally so long, all 3 of these schools would be filled practically instantaneously. The last time this happened, all 2 of the public charter schools that were created were paid for almost immediately. So they borrowed a bunch of money and then paid for the schools practically right away. So they want to do it again. We have public schools that are overburdened. There is way too many students in each of the classrooms. And so this is a way for parents to offer or have a little bit more school choice. I'm a big pro school choice person, where parents have the ability to take the allotment that is given to their child to go to school and put it towards whatever option they want. whether that be public school, private school, charter school, or whatever other option that they choose to go to. This would allow parents to have more option. This is 3 new charter schools. It does get a little expensive because if these schools for any reason don't pay for themselves right away, it's going to cost each taxpayer $31.40 on their property value, or excuse me, their property taxes will go up $31.40 for every $100,000. For instance, my home is roughly worth over 400, less than 500, so it's 31.4 times that amount. So it's over $120 per year that I would pay additionally in property taxes to cover these school bonds until they're paid for. I do think the charter schools are a very good idea. So if you would like more school choice, this is the way to go. Vote yes to accept those bonds. This is where it gets a little interesting though, because Proposition 2 and Proposition 3 both deal with the Willow Caswell Lakes area specifically. So if you are in those areas, basically there is a consolidation of the fire service area for the Caswell Lakes area and Willow service. So those 2 propositions are those areas specifically. So this is, again, interesting because now we jump to Proposition 4. So if you are in everywhere else that isn't Willow Caswell Lakes, you're going to have a Proposition 1 on your Mat-Su borough ballot and a Proposition 4. And so there's no 2 or 3. It looks kind of confusing because you're thinking, oh my gosh, where is Proposition 2 and 3? But you don't have them. You only have 2. So Proposition 4 is another bond package. This is the Borough Transportation Systems Projects bonds. That's a lot of S's at the end of that. Basically, what this is another road project that is being built out. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different road projects that are being proposed for a total of $36.4 million. This one is $19.99, so basically $20 per 100,000. So again, in my situation, it's about $80 per year. So for a total of, my property taxes might go up by about $200 if both of these were to pass this year. Some of these road projects include the Ingstrom to Texall. So this is going north off of Ingstrom, connecting it up to the Texall area. So you've got Texall, so it's actually going to kind of create a T. You've got Ingstrom here and then Texall here. I do think this is a really good project itself because the state and borough are currently working on the Bogard and Ingstrom roundabout. So this is just going to make traversing this area of the borough a little bit easier. We also have Johnson Roads upgrades, which that road is seeing a lot more traffic. The Settlers Bay Drive pavement preservation, which Settlers Bay, if you don't know, has all different types of problems going down Settlers Bay Drive. So this is spending a very large amount of money to just really try and fix it. It's got all kinds of problems and they're constantly having to reroute traffic as they're working on the road. Lakeview Road pavement preservation as well. The Green Forest Drive reconstruction, which the Green Forest Drive is the south side of Bogard, right at that Bogard-Ingstrom intersection across from the fire station, so same area. Then we have the Seatalk bus access, construct the Seatalk bus access. We've got school site traffic and safety improvements at the Shaw Elementary. And then we also have got the King Arthur Drive reconstruction, Burma Road safety improvements, and Echo Lake Drive improvements. So there's, like I said, 10 different projects that they're looking at packing into this bond package. If you're somebody that likes road development, we all like road development, and it's a little bit of give and take here. For instance, for me, none of these really affect me. I'm not really going into some of these areas, but I know if I want my roads worked on and improved, there might come a time where the Borough Assembly is going to have to borrow money to do that work for my area, something that benefits me. So there are times where it's a little bit of a give and take, like, hey, okay, I understand, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and allow these road projects to go through. If you're just completely against governments taking bonds to do this type of stuff, completely understandable. I kind of have been leaving this one up as a toss-up for people, just kind of giving them the information and saying, hey, do what you want with this information, because this one is a good 50-50 on this one. Do I think the road projects are very necessary? Obviously, they wouldn't be asking to borrow money if they weren't that necessary. So keep that in mind. As I said, there were 4 different major projects that we wanted to talk about, but ballot measures that we wanted to talk about. We have gone over all 4 of those. I hope you understand a little bit more about what these different ones mean and have a bit more information to make that decision at the poll. I highly encourage everybody, and I have told them, if you have your Matsu Borough Ascent pamphlet, or if you have the state pamphlet, there's sample ballots in there. Every single district has a sample ballot built directly into their pamphlet. And if you don't see it or don't have a copy of that, you can go to the Alaska Division of Elections website and download your specific copy of your district's sample ballot. You can literally fill it out, take it with you to the poll, and it's basically your cheat sheet. So you know you've already done your homework ahead of time. All you're doing is copying it off of your sample ballot onto your actual ballot. That way you have a chance to read and see everything exactly how it's going to exist when you get there. It's going to save you a lot of time. I know it took me 10 or I think it was almost 20 minutes actually just to fill it out, and I already knew what I was doing. Like, I already knew who I was voting for, which judges I needed to do, all the different ballot measures. I knew what it was. It just took me time to fill in those bubbles, make sure they're right. I double and triple checked my ballot to make sure everything was done correctly, because this year is way too important. I didn't want to make any mistakes. But go ahead, hop onto the Division of Elections website, download that sample ballot, take a look at what you're going to be getting yourself into when you get down there, so we can keep those lines moving. As I said, it's already taking people 2 hours to go vote right now, so let's not make them wait any longer. If for some reason you don't know which ballot you need, guess what? myvoterportal.alaska.gov. You can go there, put in your last name, first name, and your mailing city, and it will tell you exactly which district that you will need. And then you can go back in there, click on your district, and it's going to have everything on your ballot, show you exactly what you need. And that's the best way you can access all of your information, so you know what you're getting yourself into when you go vote. I hope you learned something today. Hope I made voting a little bit easier for you this year. Again, go down to your Division of Elections office anytime, 7 days a week. Well, I shouldn't say anytime, but 7 days a week. Check the time on their website, because it does vary. There are all different types of voting locations. I highly encourage you to get out early, vote often, as the Democrats say. Wait, no, not often, just vote early. Vote early. Get down there before Election Day so you don't have to wait in a 10-hour-long line. We don't know what might happen on Election Day. Power could go out. We could have a major earthquake again, snow day. Who knows what could happen? So I always encourage you to get out and vote early. Get that election help online. It will make life so much easier, so you already know what you're doing when you get down to that polling location. I highly encourage you to take a minute and go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you've learned something. Share this with a friend to help them vote. Also, give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. And then lastly, I am super active on Twitter, also known as X. You can find me at ICRFTN. It's basically iCrafton without the vowels, minus the I, but ICRFTN, or you can just look me up, Ian Crafton. You will find me. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, press all those awesome buttons down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.